Fair. Can I show you the song that always hypes me up a lot? And Parker thinks I think he thinks it's weird, but he pretends that he thinks it's funny.
You've probably shown me.
I probably have. I should hear the words.
Okay.
It's a great song. Sorry. Your nails did a little clack.
Like Dolly Parton.
Right. Nice.
Thank you.
You should join the troublemakers in Pitch Perfect, and that be your instrument.
Right. Because that's singing.
Yeah.
And the Troublemakers is all dudes.
Okay. Then what are they called? The Bells? No. No.
I believe in you.
I know it.
Mm-hmm. What university did they go to?
I don't even remember.
Girl. Do you not watch this on like a bi-weekly basis?
No, it's been probably a few years since I saw it.
It's been like not even a few weeks. It's been like a few days.
Okay, well what school they go to?
Barton University. They are the Barton University Bellas.
Barton Bellas. I said Bells. Hey, I was close.
Okay, you forgot a us.
Okay, well,
it's one of my comfort movies.
Should we start the podcast?
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Welcome back to the Fifth Wheel Podcast. I'm Hannah.
I'm Sydney.
And we are your gracious hosts. And this week we're talking about Monaco. Yay.
Was it Monaco? Don't they have isn't it a weird name for it? Like Day Historique or something? It's got like a weird European flair.
I like to call it the Tattletale City after this weekend.
Okay.
It was Tattletale City.
I was going to go more George Crashoutville.
George Crashoutville. George had like a during and post-race crash out.
That was like a generational crash out from George, and it was hilarious.
And what's so funny is that that's not all he's capable of.
No.
He can do so much more.
There's a reason he's often diva of the day.
Yes. Anyways, we're going to talk about Monaco.
Yeah.
Charles in FP 1, 2, and 3 put it on pole.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And we were like, yay, Charles. And then in Q3 with 20 seconds left, he puts it on pole, and we're like, yes. And there's only 20 seconds left. Surely nothing can change.
Frick you, Oscar Piastri.
It wasn't Oscar.
Lando, whichever. Stupid.
It was an orange one.
Stupid butt McLaren. I mean, like, I like you guys, but
was that one?
Charles is from Monaco. Let him have it.
I know. I remember watching that live too, and being like, oh, cool. Like, that's amazing. Charles got pole with 20 seconds left. What a last minute steal.
But then the stupid McLarens went early enough in Q3 that they had time for another lap, and then Lando decided that no, let me take Monaco away from my bestie Charles. Screw you, Lando. Not really, I like you. I'm just mad about Charles.
That's fair. Can't have them all.
We needed a win. I mean, arguably. Now let me tell you, I think this is just the epitome of being a Ferrari fan, because what do you mean? We would have killed weeks ago for a podium and a top 5 finish from both drivers. Mm-hmm. But Monaco, we're like, no, that's so sad.
Not good enough.
Not good enough. And then I'm like, oh, that's why I get it. I get why we give a foot of this Ferrari.
Those poor drivers are under so much pressure from everyone.
So,
they do better. They improve like we ask them to, and we're still like, you suck.
Like, no, but like you were supposed to win Monaco, Charles, obvi.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so arguably it was a better day for Ferrari. McLaren had a good day. Poor Mercedes had about as shit of a day as you could during qualifying.
That was really funny.
Their car, you hit a curb too hard that the engine said, done for the day.
All right, guys, I'm done for the day.
Yeah, pretty much. Because what was it? I think Kimmy's gave out first.
It was Kimmy, yeah.
And so he had made it through. He had already made it through, I think, to Q2. But then his car gave out. And so it was like, all right, well, you're starting P15. You made it to Q2, but you can't go anywhere because your car's broken.
Yeah, great job.
And, well, here comes George. Same thing. Hits curb a little too hard. Engine said, bye, I'm done for the day. And then, yeah, so I think they qualified 13 and 14.
Not good.
No, 14 or 15, because poor Ollie had a grid penalty. Poor little baby overtook during a red flag in FP1, and they gave him a 10-place grid penalty.
Wait, it was 10 places?
Yes.
You're joking.
No. I wish I was. And my thing is...
It makes sense.
Yeah, right.
But...
he overtook, but I don't even think he realized that he overtook during the red flag. And it was FP1.
Yeah, nothing had happened yet.
I mean, like, sure, whatever. Rules are rules, but give him a poor rookie a break.
I know, he didn't know.
And so I think that might have bumped up George. And I don't even think Ollie made it to Q2. If he did, I don't think he did.
Well, yeah, so that was interesting. I think I was just really interested to see with this race the 2-stop minimum.
I know.
Seemed yeah.
I think everybody was hopeful, right? I mean, this year, because Monaco, it's Monaco. It's iconic. It's been around from the beginning. And it is the race that it's, if anybody even has an inkling of a clue about F1, they usually know about the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah.
But those that have followed the sport, I mean, modern F1 cars are not built. I mean, this is on the streets of Monaco. They're, European streets, they're itty bitty. And it's, they say Monaco's won on Saturday. Because if you put it on pole, unless you just really frick up, which, Ferrari has done before, you're gonna win the race.
Yeah.
And so their hope was, all right, well, we'll make it a mandatory 2-stop in the hopes that it would, increase props.
Yeah.
This is the few, one of the few moments that we'll, give props to the FIA because they tried something.
They did.
And
I think it worked, but
it didn't.
Though. So here's what I'll say about the race. This race was absolute chaos, but chaos and nothing happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it wasn't even because of the 2-stop.
No, it was just other things happening.
It was, give them props for trying, but it's almost at this point, it's hard because it's Monaco is, you can't get rid of it, but it also, I'm almost to the point, I don't know if it should be worth points.
Yeah.
Or some, they need to do something.
They need to change it up. Okay, so here's George's ideas for making Monaco better. Maybe a plane can fly over and put water on the track at a random point. Maybe this is a good solution. Maybe we do the Lego racing instead. Maybe instead of 2 pit stops, we have 15.
Honestly, something. Or you have to get out and do a Chinese fire drill with with your teeth. I don't know. It just is one of the it was annoying because at no point could anybody overtake.
No.
So George Russell, we mentioned legendary generational crash out by George Russell, and not physical crash out, mental crash out.
He was stressed.
These drivers, I don't know what this season has done to him, but so many of them have crashed out. I'll show you this picture, but it is it's Carlos and Charles and Lando and Oscar and now George and Max, and it's just them with just the crazy eyes and just mid crash out, and they're all from this season.
Yeah,
but it's just there were so many. You had so many just DRS trains. You can't overtake. There's this graphic where it's all of the cars. It's, where you can see the dots around the track. And it's if you look at it, at no point do I know who's in the lead. Because it's you had Lando over here, you had Charles out on his own. You had Liam Lawson out in the middle of the track.
He placed actually shockingly high.
Yeah, but it didn't work.
No.
The 2-stop didn't work. You had was it the whole Williams? Because that was Mercedes was so frustrated.
That was so funny though, low key.
Did you see James and Toto yelling at each other from across the pit lane?
No. Wait, I have to see that. Show me. Yes, that's how it was. Well, it's funny because, like, I mean, like I said, the two stop, it was chaos. Like, everything happened and nothing happened. Nothing happened track wise.
No.
But, like, emotional standpoint wise, from all the drivers, everything happened.
Oh, yeah.
It was, like, the most unhinged mentally mentally unhinged race that we've had.
Oh, yeah. Wait, well, because let's just, Williams. So it was like Alex was basically purposefully holding everybody back so that I think either Carlos or one of the two of them could take a free pit stop, essentially.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that happens in Monaco on a one-stop race anyway.
Yeah.
But this one just in particular, and that's why George... So there's this chicane. And honestly, if they would just take that chicane and take it out and let it be straight, because it's the chicane that George cut.
It is.
And so George comes on, he goes, he's driving erratically and blah, 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 and just like all this nonsense.
Going off.
Because he's pissed because he can't get behind. He's being held up by the Williams and can't do anything about it because you can't overtake at Monaco.
No.
And so he decides to just cut the corner and comes ahead of the Williams. And whatever his race engineer comes on, and we're going to need to give the position back. Without missing a beat, he comes on the radio, goes, I'll just take the penalty.
Honestly, though, like, at that point, when you're that frustrated, it's worth it. And normally I wouldn't say this, but they were going that slow that the penalty probably would have been worth it. Like,
well, you would think,
but
because you think normally they'd get just a 5-second penalty. Well, he did, but it was a drive-through penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to take it during the race.
Yep.
Mind you, Mercedes had not taken either of their pit stops.
Nope.
It's like instead of the, hey babe, can I come over? Hey babe, let me, are you free? Like, hey babe, let me come over. And it's a, hey, pit stop. So like, pit stop, maybe. Could we get a pit stop?
Yeah.
Both Mercedes drivers.
Yep.
It was insane.
Oh man, it was just absolute mayhem in terms of like strategy and anything mental regarding the drivers. So Alonso, well, I'll start at the beginning. Bortoleto had a crash and I like actively laughed, and I know it's not funny, but it just looked like he didn't even feel like turning.
Yeah, it did kind of look like he just chose to drive into the wall. I mean, we know he didn't.
Yeah, but like it did look like it. And then Gasly had no brakes. He hit Yuki, and then he threw a fit. Gasly started yelling because he had no brakes, and then Alonso had another fit. We joked because in the last race he was saying, "I'm the unluckiest fucking driver in the whole world," and we were like, "No, you're not." But he actually might be now. Like, he DNF'd. And what's funny, he yelled at his engineer on the radio before he DNF'd. He's like, I can't push now. And the announcer goes, well, that struck a nerve. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah. Well, it was around that time. At some point, Crofty called Esteban the unluckiest man in Formula One, which, to his defense, if we're talking time penalty, Esteban kind of is. But he said that, and I'm like, have you met Fernando Alonso or Charles Leclerc? Because they'd have something to say about that.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on what the unlucky part is.
It's like, depending on the day, it could, like, the title and the crown is just going to get passed between the two of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Because poor Charles.
30-minute penalty for Esteban Ocon.
Stop, he's already dead.
Stop, he's already dead.
And it's just 5-second time penalty for Esteban Ocon.
Yeah, and we don't even know what happened most of the time. I feel like this season hasn't been that bad with it, but in previous seasons, we would just be watching a race and then be like, 10-second penalty for Esteban Ocon. We're like, what happened? What happened?
Like, he sneezed into his helmet.
Yeah.
Like, okay, and?
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
it's so dumb.
It's weird because you're right. I think you said nothing happened, but
everything
so much happened.
Right. And so I was like, it was a good race. So I was getting ready because Parker's cousin had his graduation that day, and we had to leave the house at like 10:30, and the race ended at like 10. So it was perfect. And I was in the bathroom getting ready for a lot of the race, and it was perfect because it was a good race to listen to.
Yeah.
Because nothing visually
You're
really
not going to
happened.
see anything happen at Monaco.
I just kept hearing boop, boop, boop of the radio. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. And I was like, oh no.
It was just nuts.
Oh,
there's a meme from Top Gear where it's like, it's crazy how clear the roads are today. There's no traffic, no nothing. And then it cuts to like the camera in front of the car looking backwards, and there's just a line of cars behind Jeremy Clarkson, and someone photoshopped, I think it was either Alex or Carlos, onto Jeremy Clarkson because
it was Carlos.
The Williams did.
They did.
They sure did hold him up.
They did.
But I'll say their strategy worked.
They got P9 and P10.
They got P9 and P10, and I think they announced it like at the end of the race. That's the first time Williams has gotten double points in Monaco in 20 years.
All because they drove slow.
It's
ironic.
Crazy. But I mean, just from the standpoint that they put themselves in a position to be able to get double points.
Yes. And they did a great job, as much as it infuriated the Mercedes.
It was so funny.
It was so funny.
I'll have to show you the video because it was, at first I thought somebody just like photoshopped those two images together of them yelling at each other. But then there's this interview clip of it's not even an interview. It's, like a reporter speaking in a different language, but then you just see this interaction between James and Toto, and it was giving the, what's your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony. What's your name? Ezekiel. Fuck you, Ezekiel. It was giving that, and then just, it was so funny.
It was good. I love it. I love the drama.
Yeah.
So there was some other interesting... Oh, wait, before I jump into that, there was one more instance of people not letting other people do things, and that was once Lando had like started lapping people, Lance Stroll just wouldn't get out of the way, to the point that he almost got a penalty for it. They had to tell him like 6 times.
Yeah.
He was like, but what if I just like hung out here and like they forgot?
And it's like,
it's been a lap and I'm the leader.
It's like, what's the point?
Like, what if I didn't move and then I stay here long enough, they forget that he's lapping me, and then I'm the race leader.
Right. Like, it just, and that's why I think that graphic of, if you just show someone that, if I, even watching the race, I'm like, I don't know who's leading.
No.
Because they just, the track's so short that they almost instantly lap one another.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, great day for McLaren.
Great day for McLaren. Speaking of interesting strategies all around, especially from McLaren, there was that really, really, really bad pit stop with Oscar.
He got sassy.
Screwed, and he was so sad. And I wrote it down. He goes, so now what's the plan? Because that didn't work very well, which is true. But unfortunately, I feel like what we learned from that, not that they did it on purpose, because they didn't, but with the plan, he's like, what's the plan now?
Mm-hmm.
They were just using him to let Lando win, which is, I mean, the right thing to do in that situation. But
I don't even think it was that. I genuinely, like, that was Lando's race to lose. He didn't need the buffer from Oscar.
No, he didn't.
I think that, if anything, them screwing up that pit stop it just, diminished any chance of Oscar somehow jumping Charles.
Yeah.
For P2.
Well, what I was trying to say, I guess more so, is they didn't really necessarily care to give a backup plan, because they're like, well, he's not going to win anyways.
No, I mean, the mandatory 2 pit stops, it didn't work.
No, it didn't.
Because I think that was the first one anyway.
Yeah.
And so it just, yeah.
There was one strategy that was so risky, and it could have gone really, really good or really, really bad, and it ended up really bad. Max Verstappen did not take his second pit stop until the last lap, because it's Monaco. If there's going to be a race where someone crashes, it's going to be Monaco, because the streets are so narrow. Yeah. And so he was holding off on his last pit stop for like the last 15 laps, because he was in first and he was hoping for a safety car
Yeah.
so that he could, you know, do the pit stop there. And so, like, if it had worked, if someone had crashed, that would have been, like, genius.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
I mean, and I think almost any other team would have tried that, and you might as well. Because the thing is, at that point, the only way you do win Monaco, if you're not on pole, is if somebody else screws up bad enough, or there's a weird ass situation and you had a weird strategy and it worked.
Yeah, it's never like a skill-based race.
Because that's the thing. Yeah, so that race, red flags, Max wins.
Yep.
And so, you know, I mean, it was a whole hell of a lot better of a strategy than just like not taking either pit stop until the last 10 laps of the race. Mercedes.
What the?
I'm still not over that.
It's so funny.
know we keep going. Like, I am not over
Mercedes
that.
had a bad day.
And respectfully, George had such a right to crash out
he did.
In the magnitude and manner that he did.
He did.
Because what was that?
It was so funny though.
And Mercedes almost always has really good strategy.
That, and they always, for the most part, I don't say this for George Russell because he can blow up sometimes, but for the most part, they keep their cool.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty level-headed. I say that. George definitely has his moments. I am not talking to you, George Russell. You keep blowing that pretty little head of yours anytime there's an inconvenience.
Oh, please do. It's so
it's so funny. So they had a really rough day. So it was worthy of crashing out. But what's so funny is I feel like most races, when it comes to strategy, are like, I mean, you're focusing on the car first, like in the driving first. Like it's like a Hot Wheels race. You're trying to go fast. Monaco's like playing chess.
Yeah.
With the lights off.
Monaco is, let's hope underwater. To God we put it on pole. Otherwise, we're playing chess underwater with the lights off while weaving a basket.
Right, exactly. So
good luck.
It's really just like, how do I strategize this? It has nothing to do with speed.
And the thing is, you don't. It's like let's try this. And please work.
I feel like, you know what would be so fun is if we did a Monaco race where we just did a random order, or like did a reverse qualifying. And so like the people like Lance Stroll would win the race. Or even worse, a Sauber. Actually,
I would rather that happen than Lance Stroll.
I was about to say that's not worse.
No, because that means cars. Because that means Gabriel Bortoleto or Nico Hülkenberg would finally, at least, you know, maybe get on the podium. Because that still hasn't happened. But you know, Daniel Ricciardo wasn't good enough to stay in F1.
No.
So that's Anyways,
speaking of Daniel Ricciardo, there was that the F1 announced their partnership with PepsiCo.
Yeah.
And it was like all these brands, and then there's like a generic F1 actor
really
person.
Like Doritos.
Yes,
it's like Pepsi, Doritos, and an energy company. I just latched on to Doritos.
The driver's like putting on their gloves, and like on the jacket it says like Pepsi or whatever. It says Doritos, whatever. And then they pan, and they show just like this much. The side profile, just the eyes and like top half of the nose of the person wearing the helmet. That is Danny Ricciardo.
It was eyes and whole nose. I would know that nose anywhere.
I would just know like the bump in the nose.
Like, put him in a police lineup and
that
Daniel
one,
Ricciardo.
sir. That one, sir. That one, officer.
Number 5 killed my brother.
That one, officer.
I forgot about that part. Remember that Brooklyn Nine-Nine cold open where they sing "You Want It" or "I Want It That Way"?
Yes.
It's number 5. Number 5 killed my brother.
That one's so good.
It's such a good call. I love that show. I miss Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah.
I miss him so much.
Yeah.
It's just really annoying that frick Red Bull. Anyways.
Yeah. I did want to take a moment to talk about Ferrari, but specifically Lewis Hamilton and his experience at Ferrari so far. We already know that him and his race engineer have had a lot of tension. They've just not been getting along, or like I don't know. It's like not.
I don't know that I totally agree with that. I think, you know, we only know what we see on the radio messages,
but what we see isn't great.
I don't know.
Everyone's been frustrated this season. I will say that. However,
fair, but
there was one thing that happened this weekend with Lewis and his race engineer, and it happened to Carlos. Not the same exact situation, but similar. Like, remember when Carlos towards the end of last season was like, hello, guys, and they just wouldn't answer him. In this race, Lewis asked his engineer, are you mad at me or something? And he didn't reply.
I mean,
you're fighting for your life on track, and then like you're also like he's wondering, is my race engineer mad at me? Like that's not the time to give the silent treatment.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but the thing is, like, that's not unique to Ferrari. We've seen that happen at every other. I mean, I think it goes back. We talked about it, a handful of episodes ago. I mean, people were on the way Lewis was talking to his race engineer, but it's everybody just conveniently forgets the things that Max has said to poor GP.
Oh yeah, Max has been rough.
It's, I mean, maybe it's my personal bias towards Lewis, but it's like, we don't know what it's like in the car.
No, we don't.
And so, it's, and I don't know that it's so much even them ignoring. It's like some things they don't have an answer for, or they can't give the answer that they want to over the radio. The radio is public knowledge.
Yeah.
Whatever is said over that it goes out to the public and to the other teams.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I agree. But I think the only unacceptable thing for me is non-response during a race, because at the very least, even if he was mad at him, he could have said like, you don't like don't worry about it. Like, you don't need to worry about it. Focus on the race or something like that.
I mean,
and then talk about it off.
That's fair, but it's not the first instance.
It's not, though.
For any team where we've seen a non-response.
No, it's not.
A common strategy from the race engineers with some things, because it's like they're not going to give an answer that the drivers like.
Yeah, but
not to say that he was mad at him, but
no, but
I don't remember that radio message, and so
what I'm trying to say, it's not just I'm mad at Ferrari about it. It's like, I don't think that that's an acceptable thing to do in general. I'm not trying to say that Ferrari is the only one that's done that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. When Lando won, I just wrote down the quote, and I'll try to say it exactly as he did. Monaco, baby. Yeah, baby.
It was giving Austin Powers.
I literally said, I wrote that quote down, Monaco, baby. Yeah, baby. Quote from Austin Powers, probably.
No, for real.
It was so Austin Powers coded. I was like, hey, whoa. I mean,
it really was.
He won Monaco. He has every right.
Which is cool. But, I mean, it's, we've got another new, because Monaco's one of those, it's iconic to win. I mean, you've got the Red Bull pool. When they win, they jump in. You had Charles jumping into the harbor. I don't think Lando jumped into anything, but I think they were running out of places to jump into. Maybe McLaren was like, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Zach Brown was on the podium because he was the one who accepted the team award. And I just love when that man goes full American, because it is so funny to just be reminded how American Zach Brown is. Yeah! And just it's giving Saturday, like, college football, Sunday, like, NFL football celebration. It's
giving hold my beer.
Yes. And, for as serious of a sport as F1 tries to be sometimes, Zach Brown says, LOL, hold my beer.
Yeah, Zach Brown said, I'm going to keep these people humbled. We're a humble sport.
Funny. It's so fun. And then it's just him celebrating like that in front of the Monaco royal family. And arguably an entire country that's mourning an almost win by Charles Leclerc.
Mm-hmm. And there's all those people behind them, like when they're spraying the champagne, like I'm pretty sure it's like the Monaco royal family. Yeah. They're getting drenched in champagne.
They told him this year, because I think last year, I mean, granted, I think they were probably okay with getting some of Charles's champagne on them, but they made him wait to spray the champagne until the royal family stepped back. Because
yeah. But speaking of, and we might have mentioned this, I don't think we've mentioned it on the podcast. Remember, like a few months ago, when Ferrari released that line of clothes that had champagne spray on them, and it looked really inappropriate?
Yeah.
Sorry, that just reminded me of it. It was really bad.
Yeah, it wasn't the best aesthetically pleasing clothing design choice.
I wouldn't even give it that much. I'd say it was borderline. I don't even know what to say. It's gross. You know the quote with the girl on Dr. Phil, and it's like, "This is your man. This is your man." She's like, "That's mine. I'm gonna stick beside him." That's how I feel being a Ferrari fan sometimes. Like the world is like, "This is your man." Like,
yeah,
and it's like,
that's not new news. That's just being a Ferrari fan.
That is just being a Ferrari fan. But I don't know. It's silly. It's funny.
Yeah,
it's a roller coaster.
Yeah. So what was it? So we had Lando P1, Charles P2, and then Oscar was P3.
Yeah.
Which, so they had some of the Monaco royal family like presenting some of the trophies, and I think they were giving either Charles's or Oscar's, or maybe it was going to Lando. Nonetheless, not Oscar's trophy. And the Princess of Monaco is going to give this trophy to, I think, Lando. And she goes to like shake Oscar's hand of just basically like a congratulatory, like, hey, good job on P3. Oscar doesn't realize that that's what she's doing. And he goes, oh no, that's not mine. It's his. And like to go point, like, that's his trophy. And then she was like, oh yeah, no, I know. And then he was like, oh, okay. And then returns the handshake. And I watched this happen and I was like, oh, buddy. Like the secondhand embarrassment. Like that's one of those things that he's going to think about for the rest of his life.
He's going to be like almost asleep at night, like when he's like 50. And then that's just going to come back. And of course, like of anyone that would happen to, like if let's picture all of the F1 drivers and that happens to every single one of them, who's going to be the most awkward about it?
I mean, obviously Oscar's up there. We watched it happen.
Yes.
But like, it just was so funny because I know if that had happened to me, I'd be mortified.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not like I feel like any other or most drivers would just laugh it off, be like, oh, haha, that's my bad.
Oh, no.
And Oscar's like, oh my God, what have I done?
Like, oh no, I just tried to correct the Princess of Monaco and she just wanted to give me a handshake. Oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah. He's going to be banned from Monaco.
I doubt it. But no, I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah. I do have one more Ferrari meme just because it's one of those, like 20 seconds left and Lando takes it and then he gets second. It's like a whole Ferrari just had a you were so close, man weekend, and like that's almost worse than doing bad.
Well, because we had all the hope of Charles being P1 in all free practices at the top of, I think he was at the top of at least Q2, maybe Q1, and then frickin' Lando was
with less than 20 seconds left.
Oh, well, dog.
So, thanks for holding my spot for me, man.
Whatever, it's fine.
So I saw one of those memes, and it's an old meme. It's been circulated before, but it popped back up. Rightfully so. It's the meme. It's like an article title. It's like, oh, Formula One driver Oscar Leclerc is what I was about to say. I mean, that is his name. He's adopted.
Yes.
But sorry, I'll start that over. Formula One driver Charles Leclerc visits orphanage, and then it's a picture of him, and it's a quote. It says, "It's heartbreaking to look into those sad, hopeless eyes." Quote from one of the kids talking about Charles.
That was us after several of the races this year.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's fine. We've got but now the thing is, because Ferrari had a good weekend, so now I'm gonna roll into Barcelona in the Spanish Grand Prix this weekend and be like, all right, Ferrari, where's that podium? Where's that win? Come on now.
Yeah, you're getting there almost.
You gave me some hope. You better capitalize on that.
Yeah, it's at least it's a triple header weekend or month, I guess.
Well, kind of. The last one didn't go very well for us.
I know, but I like having F1 every weekend.
I mean, yeah.
Like, what else do I have to look forward to? Like, my life?
Well, yeah. Girl.
No.
Your life is fine.
No,
you have a loving husband. You have a cute-ass cat.
I'm just being dramatic, Sydney.
Yeah, I know. But I'm not going to let you say your life is shit, because it's not.
It's not shit. Formula One just makes it better.
Well, duh. Formula One makes everything better, even when it diminishes my mental well-being.
Yeah. Yay!
No, it was fun. Another thing I saw, so they do the F1 25 game or whatever, like the F1 racing game, right?
Oh yeah.
every year they, update the drivers and the tracks, this, that, and the other. So I think either like the trailer or the promo for it came out. The video game designers made all of the drivers the same height.
Like every single one of them?
Like in the video game.
Yeah.
Like they're all the same height. Like there is no height difference between, so like
George Russell is like Yuki height? Well, Yuki's like
is everyone else's height.
Wait.
Tall Yuki can't, he's not real. He can't scare
that
you.
As it happened. Oh, I don't like that.
Why? No, Yuki is not that tall.
No, he's not.
Yuki is not that tall.
He shouldn't be. He was never meant to be. That's not the way God intended.
Oh my gosh, no. And it just, it's terrifying. So like they're all the same height. Like Franco's the same height. Like George and Yuki are the same height. What is that?
Wrong.
What is that?
I hate that.
Wrong.
Oof. Speaking of like F1 in the real world, I say real world outside of like, like video games, movies, things like that. The F1 movie, the drivers all watched it. And Carlos was there like, so Carlos, did you like it? And he's like, I'm allowed to say if I liked it. And they're like, did you? And he was like, yeah, I liked it. I think non-F1 fans are really gonna love it. And he like said that like 4 times. He's like, yeah, I think for the the people that are really into it, like I think they'll be fine. But like I think the non-F1 fans are really gonna like it.
I think, which is funny because I feel like that's what everybody expected.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to see this movie because of how accurate to the F1 world it's going to be or this, that. We're going because we want to see all of the other cameos of drivers, and like we know Gunter's in it because he was in the trailer. Like I know that this movie, I mean, even from the things that they were filming during last season, I think it was in Mexico where he like dramatically stumbles away from the car and then collapses. Like, come on.
That was it's like I loved all the TikToks that were like, have we seen the entire movie at this point?
Pretty much.
Like,
and so I'm gonna go and but am I gonna have a good time watching this movie? I know I'm going to.
Oh, yeah. And did you see the popcorn buckets for it? They're helmets.
Why are they so good?
I have to go multiple times. I'm gonna get a few of them and I'm gonna paint them for my favorite drivers.
Oh, that's not bad. I bet we
should do that together.
Just let you. Well, I will be living in Arkansas.
I don't care.
Okay.
We're gonna go together.
Yeah, we so are.
At least humor me.
Yeah.
At least pretend like it's a normal possibility. Okay. When does it come out?
I don't know. It's already on my Google Calendar. Hold on.
I was gonna say, because if it's like next week, we could go.
No, it's not. It's after I move.
Dang it.
It's it comes out June 27th. And yeah. So I'm like, okay.
You just had to crush my hopes and dreams like that.
Well, I'll be there with you in spirit, but Maddie will be there with me in person.
Okay, it's one thing to not be there with me, but to replace me?
I'm not replacing you.
I know.
You're irreplaceable.
That's really sweet.
It's okay. We've got one more in-person one. This isn't making it better, is it?
No.
So if you haven't picked up on it, I'm moving to Arkansas next week.
Everyone comment boo in the comments.
Yeah, it's real sad. But it's okay. But yeah, so
it's
the F1 movie.
fine.
It looks like it's going to be, man, now I'm a little depressy. Everybody at work is like, "Ooh, when's your last day?" And I'm like, stop reminding me. I have so much to pack.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna help her pack on Thursday of next week.
Oh, you mean no? We load in the U-Haul.
Okay, I'm gonna help you move boxes. And then I'll bring pizza.
Yeah, because I will have none utensils.
Yes, I've also noticed I've been doing this all the time lately because of you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
It's my rock on, man. Cool. Oh, all right.
Good defense move.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how I feel about the F1 movie though. Like
I think F1 like we're gonna have to remove ourselves from knowing how the F1 world works.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Well, the thing that I think is going to bother me about it is that the driver is like sleeping with his female race engineer.
I don't think she's a race. Regardless,
she's like a part of the team.
She's a race engineer. I think it's like but nonetheless,
it's just perpetuating the stereotype of women in motorsport. Like, I don't know.
But the thing is that it's a movie like that is gonna have a love interest anyway.
But why couldn't she be a fan?
That somehow would be worse, I think.
Why couldn't she be like, I don't know, anyone else?
I mean, I don't know that I like. Does it suck? Yeah, sure, but I don't know if I really have a strong opinion of it because it's a fictional, like it's a movie. Yeah. And the thing is, people who aren't F1 fans aren't gonna, you might get a couple of F1 fans out of it, but
yeah,
they're not gonna, if anybody latches onto that and be like, yes, that's what F1
that's what happens.
Like, that's what happened, right? After all of these, half the drivers have wives or girlfriends.
Wags. Well, yes. You said wives or, so wogs.
Okay. Right. But I'm not going to this movie because I think it's going to be a cinematic masterpiece.
I don't either.
I'm going to be entertained and play Spot My Favorite Driver. Yeah. I saw a tweet. LOL, not Checo fan texting me in the middle of the podcast.
Checo fan, get out of here.
Oh, well, he does agree. Yeah, I don't remember what I said because it's been a couple of days, right? Yeah, they need to make the car smaller for sure. Honestly, put the drivers in F3 cars and see what happens. He said, I'm sure even Indy cars would do better. Honestly, not a bad take.
Yeah, put them in smart cars. Those things are tiny.
Those things are so small.
They're so tiny. I bet they would flip over immediately. Yeah. They just go.
But I saw a tweet because I think I was talking about the F1 movie. But there's a point in the movie where I think was it Apex is their abbreviation or whatever, the F1 team or the fake F1 team. Their driver looks like they're crashing into like one of the like foam boards or whatever. And someone was like, "Oh, Logan Sargent, I saw him." And it's because Logan is on track and it's Logan's car when he was still on the grid last year, but the Apex car is who's crashing. And someone was like, "Not gonna lie, when I saw this picture, I just assumed it was Logan crashing."
Oh no.
Which RIP, but also hilarious. That's really funny.
I miss Logan Sargent.
I do miss Logan.
Only for the vibes though, not for like the skill.
I mean, yeah, we could have used him a little bit, I think, this weekend, but it's fine. It's fine. I mean, it was a good race weekend, but and they tried with the mandatory 2-stop, but it obviously didn't work.
I didn't even say why I called this weekend Tattletale City. Because everyone was tattling on each other, like, to try to get any advantage.
Oh, well, yeah, because what else were you going to do?
Right, exactly. We didn't get into it, but I wanted to mention that. I didn't want to just say, like, oh, it's Tattletale City, and then people will be like, why? And I'm like,
I don't know. But because at that point, nobody was doing anything wrong.
No.
There's nothing that says you can't, as long as you're going whatever speed you have to.
Nothing wrong with slowing down a little. Just because you can go faster doesn't mean you have to.
Right. And so, we'll see. It's Monaco. It was a good race weekend, but
yeah, it's just
all right. What's next, FIA? Because you're gonna have to do something. I don't think you can take Monaco off the calendar.
I don't think you can. It's just too iconic. But like, things have to be done.
You need to do something.
Yeah.
I saw. Yeah, I think I was talking about the chicane that's right by the harbor. If they just it's the corner that George cut.
Yeah.
If you just straighten that out, I think there's enough straight, like just flat out, that
to pass.
It could be like, I think even a single passing zone in Monaco would make the world of difference.
Because right now there's 0 passing zones.
Yeah, because there's room for barely one car.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It'll be interesting. I got no clue what's going to happen this weekend.
I don't either, man. I think one thing I do like about this season similar to last season, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think maybe a little more so you have an idea, but it's still up in the air enough that even if it's all right, McLaren's going to take it, at least it's
which one?
Which one?
Right. Not like how Red Bull was last season. Which one? It was always Max.
It was always going to be Max.
Never Checo. Never Checo. Checo fan.
Which is so funny.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like our energy in this episode just kind of matches how Monaco was.
It was good, but it was fine.
Yeah, like there's not much to laugh about this episode.
It's not really going to be a race from this season that I remember at all.
No, I feel like the vibe is like it could have been so much more.
It could have been. You know, it's like you tried, but it didn't work.
Yeah, now they have to like make them drive like with one hand tied behind their back or something.
I don't
like
know, something. George Russell was onto it. Like spray water on the track. I don't know.
Yeah, something has to happen. But
figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out, FIA.
Which
FIA stands for figure it out.
Right.
Sorry, that was dumb.
It was, but it was a little funny.
Ow. I'm delusional at this point. There was nothing else that happened.
At this point? Just at this point?
Okay, rude. Hey, you're not getting any cake.
Okay, I'll survive.
Please like pretend like that's a good threat.
I got a car and money. I get paid this week.
I
get paid tomorrow actually because tomorrow's Thursday.
Oh, nice. I was going to wear my Oscar hat during this. Sydney got me an Oscar Piastri hat.
I sure did. Her birthday was Monday.
It was.
It was also Memorial Day. And so we normally film these the Monday after a race, but we were on the river.
We were on the river.
And so, and then y'all were busy last night. But yeah, I sure did. And then I made stickers for that podcast.
She did make stickers.
So if you want a sticker, DM us.
Yes, let me know. We can send.
So you want to tell you what I did with the stickers?
Sure.
So
I'm scared.
I ordered them from Etsy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I ordered them back in probably like the very beginning of April. Like, I don't know if you remember when I Teams messaged you and was
do.
Hey, can you send me that logo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I ordered them like sometime that week. Well, they came in. They were great. They were perfect. Look exactly like the ones that I gave you. I don't know what happened to them. I'm pretty certain I threw them away. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so like they arrived.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Mm-hmm. The first set arrived. And it was about the point where I thought, I haven't seen those in a minute. And I knew I had put them on the counter, but I was like, maybe I moved them because I think you were coming over. The rest of your presents were in my closet. Couldn't find them. I looked everywhere. I'm 93.5% sure I threw them away.
Oh.
And so luckily I ordered them with like days to spare. And got the second set in. So somewhere in a landfill are the first ever set of fifth wheel stickers.
If you can find them, they're yours.
But we have more right now.
We do.
And then now you finally have some Oscar merch.
Yay!
It was really funny because weeks ago we were just yapping as we do. And she goes, you know what's crazy? The fact that I don't have any Oscar Piastri merch. And I looked her dead in the eyes, knowing I had received this hat in the mail days before this conversation. I was like, you know what, Hannah? That is crazy.
She's pretty good. Okay, and she tricked me on Friday too. This girl's a little sneaker. You want to know what she did? So on Friday, and she's so kind and she's such a great friend, and I hate her for it.
But I'm a bitch.
She's a bitch for it. So on Friday, Parker was telling me like for the weekend, I was like, hey, like, do I need to set out any food from the freezer? Because we were trying to like clean some stuff out for dinners and whatnot. He was like, don't worry about anything for this weekend, including like Friday night dinner, Saturday, like anything. Like from the moment you get off work Friday, don't worry about anything. I was like, okay, cool. And so he comes home, he's like, we're going to dinner. And I'm like, yay, awesome. Where are we going? He's like, I can't tell you. Actually, wait, before this. So he had already told me don't worry about anything, but he kind of hinted at dinner. And so I'm on Teams chat, like video chat with Sydney.
Sometimes Hannah and I call each other to keep each other productive while we're working. It works.
For you, maybe not for me.
It works sometimes.
I get excited because you're there and then I don't do my work. But she's there with her friend Sarah Beth. And I'm like, Sydney asked, "Oh, what are y'all doing tonight?" And I was like, "I don't know. I think we're
doing that.
I know she does." And I was like, "Oh, I think Parker might be taking me to dinner. He's been kind of like sus about it though, but like I'm excited. It'll be fun." And I was like, "What are y'all doing?" And Sydney, with like the easiest lie I've ever seen, is like, "Oh, me and Sarah Beth, I think we are gonna go shopping and do this." And like she said it like I had what was I
It was
supposed to
essentially.
think?
I was like, I'm not sure. We talked about. I turned to Sarah Beth and everything. I was like, we had kind of talked about maybe going shopping, some of the Memorial Day sales. I was like, I don't know.
And I was like, wait, Memorial Day sale? And she was like, yeah, Old Navy has one. And so I was so set on that. And what's crazy is AG earlier that day, who also was at the surprise, was talking about how she was going to go to Old Navy. I should have known something was up, but I didn't.
Memorial Day sales, man. They were big. They were popping.
They were. And so
it was so funny because we all show up early. And AG was like, I think she has I think Hannah might know. And I said, no, she doesn't.
What made her think I knew?
I think she just probably assumed that you would put stuff together. I said, she doesn't have a clue. No. I was like, I talked to her earlier. She doesn't know.
Nope, had no idea. So we get to, and we show up, it's K-Pot. It's like a really fun Korean barbecue place that I love. We don't go often. So I was like, oh my God, this is like the surprise. We're going to K-Pot. And then we're walking up to the door, and the door is like a tinted glass, and I see a girl sitting there, and she looks a lot like my friend Sam, who lives in Austin. But I was like, it's not fucking like you're being silly, Hannah. Door opens fully. It is Sam. Next to her, Sydney. Next to her, AG. They're all sitting there. Eyes pause. And then what did I do, Sydney?
Immediately starts crying.
Yeah.
Flips us off and goes, fuck you guys. Starts crying.
Yeah, I start crying.
And it was funny because we're sitting in line and I said, I guarantee you she cries. They were like, oh yeah, absolutely.
They know me.
She was just so overwhelmed with love.
I am.
Because we love her.
I get overwhelmed with love and then I cry, and it happens a lot, okay? Like,
it was really funny.
I have amazing people in my life and they are really kind to me, and then I cry.
So funny.
It was good.
Because man, because that's the thing. I don't think I'm a great liar, but I can when I need, and especially if it's a surprise for someone else. I'm like, give me the Oscar.
Yes.
Because you want to know what Hannah didn't have a clue what was happening.
You said give me an Oscar, and you know what Hannah didn't have, and my head went to Oscar Piastri merch.
You do now.
I do now. So she got me that, and she got me the stickers, and she got me a Carlos Sainz Ferrari car. I already have the Charles one that she got me for Christmas, and then she was at the store and she saw this one, and like, I mean, this is not going to exist.
No.
Like, Ferrari Carlos is dead.
For now. Maybe he'll come back. But Ferrari Carlos is dead.
Why?
Because
he's dead.
So I sure did. I got you, me, and Shelby one of them, which hopefully she doesn't listen to this before I give it to her.
Shelby, don't listen.
She probably forgot. I told her when I bought it that I had a surprise for her, but I couldn't tell her what it was.
When do you see her?
Probably sometime in June.
She'll probably hear this.
Yeah, but she's real behind on our book.
That's true. All right, Shelby, don't listen. It's always tempting. I want to take the bottom off of this so I can roll it, but also, like, it's really nice that it's on the little stand because it just sits really well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Spin the Carlos.
No.
Oh no, it's me.
Anyways.
That's all, folks.
That is all. I'm excited for Spain.
Me
the
too.
last one in Barcelona.
Yes, and
next
year's
Madrid.
I love how, like, the most fun it feels like we had in this episode was not talking about the race.
There wasn't much that happened.
No. I think I don't even know what I think. That race was just,
it was alright.
Wouldn't watch it again.
It was alright.
I'm glad I saw it happen. I wouldn't go back and rewatch it. No. Well, that's all for Monaco. We're gonna Monaco eat some dinner. But
right. Right.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, we'll catch you guys next week for Barcelona.
Yes, for Barcelona. I'm Hannah.
I'm Sydney.
And it's lights out and away we go. Bye. You didn't like my Monaco joke? Answer the question. Answer the question.
I feel threatened.
You are being threatened. Answer the question.
Oh.
Aww.